So this weekend, I've been kicking myself for not sharing that I thought Season 1 was going to be delayed. Since Wednesday, I've had this sneaking suspicion that the devs were in hyper crunch mode because of either a bug or something that they discovered, and so it got really quiet over at AGS, and they've been hyper focused in on fixing this. And this weekend, the TLDR, as they tweeted out, Season 1 is delayed. We don't, at the time of this recording, know exactly. I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date the second we have more information to cover about this. But this video, I'm going to kind of talk about my thoughts about this specific delay because it doesn't ever feel good, but I think longtime players, New World community, like people who are actively playing the game, not just passively kind of jumping in and jumping out, nothing wrong against those kind of gamers any which way, but those of us who are active know that every big update usually comes with a problem. And while that problem gets fixed, it always seems to take a little bit of the wind out of the sails. And all of us are secretly rooting that, like, just release a really good patch and also, like, no major issues. Now, minor bugs, little hiccups and things like that, non-issues. But we always seem to accompany a major update with a major bug. And I think essentially this hopeful side, the dev in me, wants to root for them, will always root for them. Game development is absolutely hard. Anybody who tells you game development is not hard does not know what they're talking about. But here we are. It's delayed. As soon as we know, is it a delay that we see it drop this week? Sure. But the irony and obviously all this was me saying like earlier, like, do they mean the 28th? Because we've seen them release updates at the 11th hour. You know, hey, we made the date. Barely. And I think it's important for them, and I want to encourage them that bug fixes and having their best foot forward, not 2 steps, forward, 1 step back, which is what they're trying to work to, get rid of, is the positive thing, is the right direction for the game. But anyway, that's a long enough kind of intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you're new around here, my name's Brian, but if you're a returning subscriber, you're daggum sexy. And hopefully you know it. And if you don't know it, you know it now. Welcome back. And that's what you get for subscribing. Free compliments and me calling you sexy at the start of these videos. Today I want to talk about this aspect, this delay, but in terms of the dev perspective and the marketing perspective, because there is like concerns that I have, and I want to kind of address those. This isn't going to be me being hyper negative. I just want to kind of bring the reality of everything going on. I see a lot of video game analysis that I feel personally as a software engineer, but also as somebody who's a longtime gamer, they miss a lot of points. And I'm not sitting here just calling shit, I'm not trying to throw shade at it. I feel like there's just a lot of avenues that it's easy to forget about, right? Like when you think about all the effort that it goes into getting food on your plate, you don't think about the entire supply chain process. You think about, did you go to the store? Was it a good price? Is this something that you want to eat? Because that is essentially the reality that we all live in. And this isn't a guilt thing. This isn't me saying like you need to think about everything that goes on. It's impossible, right? It's impossible. But that's essentially kind of what I'm getting at. Here's the running concerns in terms of that. Were they right for delaying? Yes. Don't stop making updates that are awesome and then having kind of that cloud of deflationary hype that accompanies it, right? Because no matter what, like perception is a thing that we have to work towards. Perception is something that AGS has to do better and harder than anything else because they don't have a massive library of nostalgia and devotees that will come to their defense and understand all the intricacies. And that's fine. That's something that you have to earn, especially within game development. Game development's so interesting. Like anybody who's new that steps into the plate, like there's a magnifying glass on you guys. That's one of the things that's curiously interesting about the Ashes of Creation community. And one of the reasons why it's starting to struggle right now is because hype can only be maintained for so long. And it's so easy for me to tell you the perfect game on paper, but to deliver it, it's going to take a lot more effort and work. I'm wishing Ashes all the best, and any game out there, that's all the best for what they're trying to do. But I'm not trying to sit here and throw shade at other games. Let's talk about the reality. So, I hope that this isn't a big delay, personally speaking, because there's some real things that are on the horizon. Just talking about AGS alone, and for some reason my Like, I don't know if y'all heard that. I didn't burp, but it was like an internal sound. I don't know if anybody's ever had that. I guess the thrills of getting older, your body just starts making weird noises. The marketing, and when it comes to just AGS alone, like if we just did a bubble of AGS, they got Blue Protocol, Throne of Liberty, Lost Ark, New World, and other games, Tomb Raider on the horizon, and other MMOs that they're working on. AGS is working to create an environment of a lot of these games as a service so that no matter what you're playing, you're a part of their wheelhouse, right? So that's essentially what's going on. One of the things that we have not seen a lot of is news about these other games. Marketing, you don't want to, like within your company, step on your own toes when it comes to these marketing things. You can't control what the world is doing, but within AGS, who's in charge of the marketing of all of these things, like there are things that they want to do and are on hold. And so if the New World, delay goes much, much further, at some point, no matter what, you're going to end up stepping on your toes. People are going to be like, hey, the content's here, but everybody's going to be excited about what's coming next, or what was announced for Throne, or what was announced for Blue, or now they're doing this thing in Lost Ark. But that's going to be the case and point that I'm trying to make here is that beyond development, I know that there's a lot of pressure. Now, a lot of people continue to try and derive that New World is dying. And I think one of the things that, will be like a real nail in the coffin for AGS is if they do decide to listen to that and ever decide to stop development. AGS has committed to 10 years for New World. It's got, in its year 2, an expansion dropping this year. So year 2 starts in the fall. They're working on an expansion. That in and of itself, like as long as AGS commits to this game for what they said that they're going to do, that gives me as a gamer so much confidence in any property or anything that they say they're committed to. Now, I think Amazon has a running history of actually doing these things. They have a running history of letting things lose money for a long period of time. And that's a good thing. Like, that's one of the reasons why when I look at New World, I see a lot of people make comparisons to other studios and other things and apply them that logic. Somebody said that Amazon's like Google. They have like this graveyard of stuff they, just kill outright. And it's like, not really. Like, especially in gaming, like the one game that they killed absolutely needed to be killed. Was not a fun game. And they were able to take those people and put them on New World, which is a fun game to play. But my concerns here are that when it comes down to just your schedule alone, we're looking at a couple of big games. Now, Throne of Liberty, Blue Protocol we don't have dates on when those are coming out, so they're not going to actively compete against that, but they will compete against the marketing hype and stuff. But there are other games. Wayfinder in May. I think another game in May, and I'm drawing a blank on it for some reason. June, Diablo 4, and Final Fantasy 16. Like, there are some really big games that are coming out. And what you want to do right here, like what the advantage New World has right now within this structure, in this update, is to get the content in people's hands so they can go and play it and enjoy it and have a good experience with it, so that when they do step away to go play these other games, as most people do, that's the nature of the majority of gamers. Rarely does somebody just sit and live and breathe in just one game. As they go and do that, that will have that positive experience. And so that when the next bit of information comes out, season 2, they're going to say, hey, that was fun when we went and played the season 1. Let's jump back in and let's go and do that. And so that's the opportunity cost that is, I think, actually at stake. It's more important that they get it right, because that is the opportunity cost that could cost them more and more, and also bad press, and also a part of their bigger things. And that just continues to reaffirm the doomers out there, like the game, is dying, which is not. Like, I just, when it comes down just to it, it just is it's an opportunity to educate people on the realities of things. The only way the game dies is if Amazon stops supporting it. And that is the rule. Content is king. If they keep making content, people will come back and check it out. Now, when it comes down to this model, I think it's important for their success. I talked about how they want this game to, or they should look at what Wayfinder's doing with allowing you to purchase and keep your pass. In fact, even what Wayfinder's doing is it says you can only purchase it for that season, and then essentially you won't be able to purchase any previous ones, but you'll own those. And I think that's essentially probably the right model, because it brings in just the right amount of FOMO to get somebody to buy. So if you weren't actively playing New World, but you knew that, hey, by the way, like new season, you just log in, purchase the season, because you know that when you come to grind out the expansion or whatever, then it gives you so many more things that you can go ahead and pick up and own. that ends up driving a lot of value. So my hope is that we can see some updates in that case for it. And then the conversation kind of as a final note, a lot of us were kind of joking and speculating that it was I who, within the features and stuff that we requested that they added to the PTR, broke them. So if that's the case, I do apologize to everybody here. And then we're going to just leave it at that. Thanks, guys, so much for your time today and your attention. I hope you have a wonderful week. As soon as we have news, I'll be sure to cover it here for y'all as well. And yeah, just honestly, thanks so much for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. But until then, take care.